What's up, all you awesome gamers? I'm the Governor, and this is the Console Corner podcast. God damn, it's early in the morning. Your number one source for all things gaming. If this is your first time listening to the show, we dive deep into the gaming industry, news, games, and everything in between. We even hook you up with some of the best gaming deals around with Foxy deals later in the show. This show is going to be awesome. We have some cool topics to talk about. Probably going to be a little bit short of a show today due to 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everyone out there. Happy Canada Day and everything else that's going on. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. But first, let's introduce the rest of the hosts of the Console Corner. First up, we have She-Wolf.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Next up, Lady Foxfire.
Good morning.
She's a little bit awake.
I'm half awake. Go ahead. Go on.
Next, we have Mr. Newfoundland.
Hey, people. Noof in the house. Happy 4th of July. And to our Australian brother, Timodos, the lag is so bad in their country, they even have to set their calendar days ahead. It's like the 5th over there.
I love it.
Oh, my God,
I love it.
And next up, we have Mr. Magic Mike.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and happy 4th of July.
Nice. If you're listening to us live or listening to us later on your favorite podcast sites, drop us your questions in the chat and we'll answer some of them as we do every week. Don't forget the Console Corner podcast is in MP3 format on most of the podcasting sites like iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Libsyn, Google Play Music, and Spotify will be coming soon. They're freaking taking their sweet-ass time. Make sure you rate and subscribe while jamming out on this podcast and these other great services. Make sure you check out our YouTube at Gamers Knows Best. Throw us a like and subscribe, as well as subscribing to all the wonderful panel members we have too. It really does help us all out. Did you want to say something? Because you look like you wanted to say something. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get into my favorite topic, and I know it's going to be surprise, surprise what I've been playing this week. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what games we've been playing. Let's go ahead and start with Fox.
What? I don't even play any games.
She don't game? What are you talking about?
What? This girl plays more games than anybody I know.
Apparently I do too many goddamn podcasts. But anyway, some of the games I've been playing lately were Battlefield 1, so I've been trying all the new maps and stuff because I got the premium pass. Wow, I can't even talk.
Coffee girl,
Fox
you got
is
that,
out of her element right
She's
now.
got that Starbucks downstairs. Did you go get some?
No comment. So yeah, I also played Gears of War 4 Horde mode with some of my buddies on Saturday night, so that was fun. Played some Rhyme, that was really fun. That Pizza Hole game. Wipeout. Wipeout on the PS3. So I really love that game, and I went back and played some of that. Gianna Sisters and Aqua Kitty.
Dang, girl, you
So-
Aqua Kitty? What the heck is Aqua Kitty?
Kitty.
Aqua Kitty is like a little indie game, and it's a kitty cat underwater, and you shoot stuff. It's like a side scroller.
Oh.
Ooh, nice.
That sounds
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Does. So the, I guess you could say the short term for that game, or the Noof Nukem version of that game, would be Wet Pussy.
I knew that was coming, dude. I knew that was coming.
I'm not surprised. It's too early for this shit.
Oh boy.
Next up, Mr. Noof Nukem, what you been playing, bro?
Well, shout out to SageBot because he hooked me up with Diablo 3, so
Yeah.
fantastic. At GKB, you got to promise, and She-Wolf, whoever owns the game, you got to play this shit with me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So just send me an invite, whatever. So yeah, that's a great game. Good to get back into it. I also finished 2 fantastic experiences this week, which I'm quite proud of because finishing games these days is something that doesn't happen a whole lot. Wolfenstein: A New Order, finally got through that whole thing. What a ride that was.
Bro.
Great game. Highly recommend it. Really got me excited now for the new one. And finally, after months of having this on my games playing list, I finished Horizon Zero Dawn yesterday. Great experience. I will only say, amazing game, just a little shade too long. I finished it about 70% complete, and the hours were just crazy. I mean, I almost played like a full day yesterday, and I thought I was like really close to done, and I kept going and going and going. It was like, my God. But anyway, that's what I've been playing, guys.
Nice, bro. That Horizon Zero Dawn. Love it. She-Wolf, what you been playing? I know what you've been playing.
Yeah, GKB's been
I've been
making me
kinda,
playing
like,
a lot of Diablo.
Yep.
He's making you?
Yeah, actually,
Eh.
yes. Like, he's
At
like,
gunpoint?
we gotta get almost.
Well, no, one day she was like really cool and supportive and played the whole day with me, and I was super happy about it. The other days, yes, I was like hijacked her.
Yes. Because, like, you're,
Damn.
like, it's on, like, keyboard, like, PC, so my fingers were starting to
We
get
actually went
sore.
back and forth with the console, and
Well, yeah, we were going back and forth.
played
I'm
Magic
trying to
Mike.
get my, my friggin' monk up to where I need it to be, but it's taking a little longer than it's supposed to. I keep dying. I'm getting annoyed. So, I don't know. Other than that, I was
Perception?
playing. Yes, I played Perception. If you haven't checked that game out, go check out the video for it. It's a really interesting game. I also played Black Desert, and I was playing something else. I swear to God.
you know, every week I,
was-
love
okay,
listening to She-Wolf's like video game. She's like, I was playing something. I know.
because
was.
I know because I know I was playing other games because I stream them. I just can't ever seem to remember. I know we were playing Destiny. We played Call of Duty: Advanced Warfare. I was kicking ass in that game.
Well,
like
no
I was
surprise.
just no, I know
That's
there's
our
no
favorite
surprise.
COD ever.
It is, but
Oh, yeah.
and then I said, oh, and Titanfall 2. So, which I'll be streaming those games this week, Thursday and Friday. So,
Boo.
boo.
Magic Mike, what you been playing, bro?
Well, like you were mentioning, we played some Diablo 3 earlier in the week, which was freaking awesome. I was like, what, a level 9 character, and you guys got me up to level like 57 in
50-something.
about like an hour's time. So that was pretty awesome.
Would have been
Um,
higher and faster if we could have figured out why the friggin' adventure mode wasn't working.
Yeah, that's probably my fault because I'm like so lame that the
No.
game was just like, no, you're not worthy.
No, I don't think it, honestly, because it screwed up my PC character, because I can't go in adventure mode now, even though, like, I've
It seemed
done.
the patch like messed up something.
Yeah, when they updated with the new.
Yeah, it took away your
Yeah.
whole campaign kind of thing on the PC side.
Yeah, well, that makes me feel a little bit better. Other than Diablo 3, though, man, this Game Pass got me scrambling around all over all kinds of different games. I got I finally got the expansion pass for The Witcher 3, the Wine and Blood, and the Hearts of Stone.
Nice.
So,
Ooh, I
uh,
like Wine
been-
and Blood.
I've been getting back into The Witcher 3. I still got to finish the main quest before I do the DLC, though, so in maybe another year or two, I'll finally get to the DLC. And let's see, I picked up Deadpool, the remaster of the 360 game, which it's gameplay's not that great, but they did the character a lot of good justice in there. So if you're a Deadpool fan, you might want to look into this game while it's on sale. I'm having some fun with it. And
Nice.
I also picked up Abzu. I've been playing that, which is a really beautiful. I don't know if you really would call it a game. It's more of like an experience type thing, but.
Mhm.
It's like it's a water simulator.
Right. Well, I mean, there is an objective. Like the more you play into it, like my son, he was actually playing it because he liked it, and I was sitting there reading a book yesterday afternoon. And he beat it. He got to the end credits. There actually is something that you need to do to beat the game.
Oh,
Interesting.
But yeah, no, I mean you're right though. It is like an ocean simulator as well, and it's a really beautiful. Just the amount of fish that it puts on screen. Like there was one point where I was like swimming in the middle of like a school of fish, and literally there are like thousands and thousands of fish swimming around, and I mean, it runs well. It has hiccups every now and then, but it's a really beautiful game. So if you're looking for something to relax with at the end of the day, that's definitely a good pickup for anyone.
Yeah, like Abzu, like when I hear people talking about that, it's a very like a love-hate kind of game. You either really love it and enjoy it, or you just absolutely can't stand it for some reason.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched my kids play it, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, you're not going to be shooting anything, so.
What's that, Noof?
I said that was like free last month on PlayStation Plus. If you got a PlayStation, you could have picked it up free.
Yep,
Oh.
that's for sure. So yeah, I've been playing Diablo 3. Surprise, surprise.
Diablo.
That's all I've been playing.
No,
all
that's
my
not
free
true.
time.
PUBG. We were playing PUBG
Oh, yeah,
before
we
we
were
were
playing PUBG.
actually playing Diablo.
Yes. Yeah, so we played a little bit of PUBG, then I got into Diablo 3, and then it's taken over my soul again.
Yeah, and I want to play PUBG, but we just played Diablo.
Yep. Necro is freaking amazing,
No,
everybody.
that thing is too OP and needs to be nerfed.
Well, yes.
Yes.
I agree. Some of the stats on it, yes, need to be balanced out a little bit, but I think it's one of the most balanced characters I've ever played in Diablo, the Bone Crusher, or Bone
You
Storm
were
one.
doing 75 greater rifts
I'm almost
with
at
like
80
not
with
okay,
shit
okay.
gear.
Yeah, with shit gear. Like I can't even run through that with like a full set of gear that is at least to the stats that I need.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think as far as like a build goes, I think it's very balanced. Yes, I do agree that some of the stats and stuff need to be adjusted, or the other builds for the Necro
I was gonna say
need to be brought up.
Or they need
because
to
they're
like
terrible.
take like all the other builds, like for like the monk, demon hunter, and bring them up to the status of
Oh,
the Necro.
before we move on to the regular topics today, I wanted to let everybody know the season starts, I think, July 20th.
Yes.
She-Wolf and I are going to be running it on console to start off with. If you guys want to join us, we have 2 more spots, console corner people, whoever.
We're going to be doing a 5-hour stream.
Yes, to grind to level 70 in a seasonal character. If you guys want to join us, it's super fun. It is a lot of work, but it's
You
really
can
cool.
join. If you
Season's
can't
super
stay
fun.
for the whole 5 hours, that's okay. We can have other people
Yeah, we can have
switch
people swap in
in
and out.
while we're going. So whoever wants to
okay.
participate, just DM us on Twitter,
Yep.
and we'll get your name into the whole little thing, and you guys can join us playing Diablo 3 for season 11. Wait, is
Yep,
it
season
11? Yeah, okay.
Season
I didn't know if the Xbox had
what
the same
day?
season.
the
July
20th.
20th?
I'll be taking that day
Oh,
off.
July. Cool.
It usually
I'll
starts at
tell
night
you- I'll
sometime.
tell you,
But
yeah.
for everyone out there, like, if we do like jump in and out and you just started a character, don't worry about it because you run rifts and you'll instantly level up with us. So don't ever worry
We
about
will
like
get you
joining
to
us.
where you
Don't
need
worry.
to be. And we will be playing on Xbox One, guys.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about that.
I will be playing on PC too, but we're starting the season
I'm in.
on the Xbox. So just FYI.
Hold on. I'll tell you exactly what day the 20th is. The 20th is a Thursday.
Yeah.
So,
It's usually on Fridays, but this one's gonna be on a Thursday.
yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into the topics for today. We got a few of them to talk about. Some really cool stuff from all over the place. Last week we talked about games with gold. This week we're talking about the PSN games for July. I'm actually really happy with this month for PlayStation. We get Until Dawn for the PS4. We get Game of Thrones for the PS4. Tokyo Jungle for the PS3. I don't know what that is. Darkstalkers Resurrection. I love Darkstalker games, so that's for the PS3. Elemental for the PS Vita, and Don't Die Mr. Robot for the PS Vita as well. It's cross-buy on PS4. What do you guys think of this month? I think it's a pretty solid month, at least for PS4.
Yeah, no, it's a much stronger month than the games with gold had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until Dawn apparently is
I think
like
that's
one
worth
of
it,
their one of their best games on the PlayStation 4. Like from a lot of PlayStation players that we've talked to, a lot of them say that this is probably one of the best games, and they're giving this game away. Like that's a AAA title.
Triple
So-
A, I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, I guess in the sense of things, it would be like a form of AAA title, and I think that is actually really awesome that they're doing that. The Game of Thrones, that one is kind of a hit or miss, only because of the fact that it's a Telltale,
Yeah.
and you either like Telltales or you don't. But
I'm in
either
that
way-
category of like in the middle. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, it's easy for trophies. Obviously, you just play through. It's like a 2-hour thing. You just pretty much, it's like a story. You're watching a story. But Game of Thrones is an amazing.
It's like you're watching a
She
story.
threw me off because she said trophies. Sorry.
Yeah.
I said it right.
Yeah, you did say it right.
I said it right, people.
Weird.
But Game of Thrones, like, it's an amazing TV show. So to be able to actually interact if you're into that TV show, then this is actually a really cool way to do it because you kind of get to determine how things play out. So I thought it was really neat.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm excited to play Until Dawn. Like Crap and all those
That's
guys
the
tell
best
me,
one out of them all. But
tell me it's a great game. I still like my problem with like QTE games like Telltale and all that kind of stuff is the QTE part.
Mm-hmm.
I find it sometimes really boring for me personally as a gamer, because I'm just like, I guess I just got to sit here and watch this thing play out and then hit a button every once in a while, which for me is really boring because I like to shoot shit. I like to blow stuff up and all that kind of cool stuff. But I mean, teach your own. I'm still going to try it out, though.
There was one that I don't remember which one it was. There was a Telltale game on Xbox that I actually just like let play, and then I'd get up and like go clean the house, and then come back, press A, and then like while it just played, just to get the achievements, because I'm like, yeah, this is just boring. But
wow,
it was, but it's easy achievements, and half the time you can just let it go, and it'll make its own decision if you really don't want to. So
yeah, that's true.
So I'll jump in and say I don't like any of the games they have on there.
Oh, wow, Fox,
so
really?
I feel differently. Oh my god, shocker. Yeah, I have Until Dawn here with because my brother bought it and I tried it. I do not like it. It's a shitty like B-movie style, and I don't like those. I understand if some people do like that stuff. I don't like B-movies. Horrible acting. Cheesy dialogue,
I love B-movies.
Teenager drama, which I usually like, but I did not like it on here. So for me, it's more of Until Dawn. I do not like that game. And then with the Telltale games, this is a weird one for me because I usually like all the Telltale games, but not this one. Not in a bad way towards the game or anything. I mean, I have heard sometimes that it's a pretty bad game, or some people really like it, so I don't know, there's mixed feelings about it, but I don't really care for Game of Thrones, so for me, I'm not interested in this Telltale game. I tried watching Game of Thrones, and I do not like it, so yeah, I don't like any of those games that they got. So for me, they're just as shitty as the Xbox ones.
Oh, dang. Dang. To
Yep,
Timidos,
yep.
he's like, GKB's he's excited for QTE games, but not. That's the thing with like QTE games. Like, I want to like them, but then I start playing them, and I can't get into the QTE stuff. Go ahead, Noob, sorry.
No, it's. I mean, QTE with me is kind of hit and miss because I don't mind like certain parts of games that have it. It's just like when the whole game is a constant like read this, press this, that sort of thing. Like even with Telltale games or whatever, like their stuff is kind of back and forth. For example, like I really like the Walking Dead games, and even the Wolf Among Us was pretty good. But then when I got the Batman, as much as I'm a huge Batman fan, that one let me down a little bit because it had like less interaction. Basically it was just like watching a comic and pressing buttons. Like you couldn't hardly like move your character at all in that one. It was just kind of like watch them. You know what I mean? Like at least there was some movement where you could explore and go around in the other games a little bit. But I am a big Game of Thrones fan, so that game, I have never played it, so I'm actually semi excited for that. Until Dawn, it looks cool, but it was one of those games that I just passed up on. So I'm not really quite sure how to feel about that one. I mean, I guess overall they're pretty good. If Mooch was here, I'm sure he'd say, "Hey, Until Dawn, it's like going up and down in an elevator for 3 hours, pressing a button, but you just don't know what you're going to see on the other side of the door."
I thought he liked that game though.
Crap does.
He probably did. Crap does. I don't know about Mooch. He doesn't really care for too much of those button presser games.
I don't really much either. It's just
I don't mind. Like, I don't mind it if there's a story. Because usually campaigns, you want them for their story anyways. So if a game like that has an amazing story and it kind of keeps me pulled in, because I'm really big into TV shows.
I'm gonna play Until Dawn for sure. I'm
really into like TV shows and stuff like that. So
I'll have my review up afterwards.
Oh, you're gonna do a review of Until Dawn?
Look at what Timidos just wrote in the chat. It's funny. Darn you, Timidos.
Nice.
I can't play it now. I can't play it.
I know, for real. Oh, man.
No, Game of Thrones is not known for the lady parts. It's known for the male parts.
That's for sure.
No, actually, that's not true. I know we're kind of going off topic a little bit here, but that's not true.
Did you not see the South Park episode?
Well, okay. Do you know why that was created, though? That was actually created.
Butters was legitimately like pissed off about it.
Yeah, but do you know why that was done, though? Because a whole bunch of women came together and started complaining on the Game of Thrones forums, saying that there's too much female parts and not enough dongs, that it ended up causing this big thing, and that's why.
I don't know either. Like they literally show everything.
No, look at the beginning of the first couple seasons. Like if you go back to the original couple seasons of Game of Thrones, you don't actually.
The first couple seasons was like, I'm gonna chop your head off. I'm gonna chop your head off.
But you saw female parts
and
all
like
the time. But that's where that's why it ended up changing. I think it was like season 4 or something. It ended up changing where you actually saw that a lot more because there was this whole like forum debate thing going on with the women saying that they wanted more. Like it became a huge thing. It was funny.
That's because guys are terrified because they went and cut Theon Greyjoy's dong off. And
yeah, for real.
Send
it to his dad.
Out of the tub.
I don't want to see that crap.
But hey, if you want to see dongs, go back and watch what's that show with the Spartans? What is Spartacus?
Spartacus.
Yeah, there's quite a few dongs in that one.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's go ahead and move on.
The morning
I don't even know how to segue after that.
The morning show officially just turned into like
we're all
after hours, but in the morning.
Yeah, I don't know. So
dong, da, dong, dong, dong.
I don't even know how to segue from that. 343 gives the okay for a fan-made Halo game using the Unity engine. So here's what they have to say. The team behind Installation 01, a fan-created multiplayer game based on Microsoft's Halo franchise, was given the legal okay to continue development by Halo developer 343 Industries. The project, named after one of the 7 Halo created by the Forerunner race, is being created using the Unity 5 engine with assets created from scratch or from the Unity Asset Store. The game features major elements of Halo 2 and Halo 3 with some original game and Halo Reach. It is planned for PC, Mac, Linux with no release date announced. I think this is really cool. A lot of times we see like fan-made shit get shot down and like legally destroyed that people can't do it. I think it's really cool that 343 is like, hey, you know what? Don't sell the shit. Don't make any money off of it, and you're free to do what you want to.
But, you know, that's actually one of the smartest things they do because of the fact that they allow these... I guess pre-developers, like obviously they're not, you know, full-time paid developers that are doing this. They're people who are just playing around. But 343 can look at them and be like, all right, so let's see what they're doing.
You're gonna steal that shit?
No, they can actually get new developments into their company. You're looking at like these people who obviously are just doing things for fun. They have the passion. They're showing that passion. 343 can just sit back and watch and see what they do and who does it, and then be like, hey, guess what? We'll hire you. And then they can bring in new people onto their team, probably at a low price, because chances are these fan guys are just going to be like shitting their pants just for the fact that 343 is like, hey, come join us kind of thing. And they get new developers because in all, like a lot of developers, we see a lot of them now, like they're leaving, they're quitting, they're getting fired, or they're just moving on to different projects. So, you know, developers get older too, just like everybody else. So if you start looking at the younger generations who just play around with this kind of stuff, who are growing up in this kind of world where literally the technology that they have is what they play with, just to play with it.
I agree with you to an extent of like, yes, 343 can definitely look at these guys if they do something really fantastic and probably use it as a recruiting tool. But the thing with Microsoft Studios, I don't think they need more people on a Halo. I think they need more new studios to create new content.
But just because 343 is Halo doesn't mean that's what they could put these. Yes,
I agree. They could go anywhere if they get picked up or whatever, right?
Well, 343 could even take them and be like, all right, so let's try working on something else. Like 343 really needs to branch out and actually take on new teams, but give them new projects. Get away from Halo.
Happen.
They could, though.
I want them to. I want Coalition to do a different game. I want 343 guys to do a different game and all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to happen unless they have like an A or B team. But I don't foresee.
Well, they can create an A or B team.
Yeah, if they hire new, young, aspiring developers like these fans that are making this Halo fan-made game, you know, if they see some talent there and bring them in, and if they start growing their studios large enough, it's not that they need more studios, but just get larger teams so that you can split them up where you have an A and a B team, and you know, one person's working on a Halo game, one person's working on a new IP. If the person working on a new IP learns something awesome that knows would be cool for a Halo game, they could even like share that code back and forth. I think that'd be the best way to grow the first party studios.
Yeah, but it's also, the reason I say that though is because if you look at how 343 works and stuff like that, it is still like fan-made things they take things to the next level. They have no worries. So they can experiment with all this technology and push the boundaries and see how far that they can go. They can take those risks. And these bigger companies like 343 and Naughty Dogs and all of them, they don't do that. So for them to see these people doing that and working with their games, they can take that and be like, hey, we'll buy your idea. And there is other things that they could do if they see something that really works and really stands out to improve their own company to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, we see a lot in games where, you know, people look at other games and are like, oh, that's a really cool idea. Let me put it in there. The problem with AAA is their lack of innovation, and I think that's why the indie scene and everything is like really popular, because they're not afraid to do things because they're on really low budgets. When you look at like these big AAAs, you know, there's hundreds of millions of dollars that are going into these games, so they really have to be safe because they're looking at investors and you know, board members and all that kind of stuff, because you have to pay the man.
Yeah, but that's why giving permission like this to fan-made stuff is a great idea, because of the fact that
I don't disagree.
They're not even indie developers who are trying to put, you know, to get their name on the board. They're literally just doing it because they have the passion to do it, which means their risks are going to be even farther than indie developers because they don't have any drive to just be like, I have to sell this. No, they're doing it because their drive is literally just to make something amazing that they can say they made.
And I mean, if you think about it, like 30, 40 years ago, that's how video game development started out. It was a bunch of guys like working out of a garage trying to, you know, get a cool role-playing game or something like that. And, you know, She-Wolf made a great point about a lot of, you know, big developers that are leaving studios and doing their own personal projects, because I think game development has just become much more of a corporate world where, you know, you're put on a project and, like you were saying, it's all about that return on investment. They're all concerned about the money. They can't take those risks. And, you know, maybe these fan-made projects, these passionate projects are going to be the next big step in video games, because I think we've all been saying, like, you know, video games graphically have taken a great, you know, leap over the past 10 or 15 years, but how much has the gameplay really changed? How much have we seen, like, just that huge, like, I've never experienced anything like this in a video game before. Like, you know, it happens maybe once every 5-10 years we get one standout game. You know, there's not a huge innovation happening right now in the industry.
You know, that goes back to, like, you made a great point, Mike, because I was watching this interview. I think it was Phil Harrison, I think was his name. He's like big, like, Sony, like, exec, and he's been around, like, the gaming industry for quite a long time. And he was saying that too. He's like, you know, because he was talking about like VR, mobile, and all that kind of stuff in the indie scene. He's like, those are the ones that are really pushing the innovation and everything like that. And he was talking about like Sony and Microsoft as a platform and stuff, and he's worried that they're getting a little content and safe in the game and really not pushing the boundaries and stuff like they used to on the older platforms and stuff. And I continue to see that, and people always say, like, oh, you know, look at Sony's games. They all look like Last of Us, like, you know, reskins and all that kind of stuff. And to a point, yeah, they kind of do. But we also love those games. But I think that's going into that whole, like, lack of innovation type kind of stuff where these consoles are, like, pushing, you know, the tech, and they're more powerful and stuff now. Why aren't we seeing new gameplay innovation? Yeah, like we should be.
If you have Horizon Zero Dawn, that's like Uncharted. That's like Tomb Raider. They're all literally, like, almost cookie cutter paste of, like, but with different skins. It's the same
copy
style.
paste with different details on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you guys completely. I think that this is actually pretty awesome. And yeah, She-Wolf is right. When you're a fan, you do see things differently than the developers do, because you're looking outside. You're from the outside looking in, so you have a different perspective and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool, and it kind of reminds me of the whole red versus blue thing. I mean, they did that using, you know, Halo's game, and they just, like, had fun with it, and then it took off from there. I think they're still doing it, but just thinking about that, I'm like, I'm glad that they're doing that, and they're letting the fans, you know, play with it, and in a way, it's kind of like promoting it and giving the game more life in a different, you know, level, in a different section.
Yeah. Back on topic. I mean, I think it's excellent that they're letting them do this. That they're not going to get legal matters like, you know, mucking it up and all that kind of stuff. Because what was it? We've seen other games like there was supposed to be a fan-made Resident Evil 2 remake using the Unreal Engine that got like shut down.
The Metal Gear one too.
Yeah, what was it? Didn't just recently the GTA 5 mods got like shut down and then they turned them back on because of the outcry.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of companies that don't want people messing with their IPs, and it's nice to see that Microsoft and 343 are a little bit more open to it, because who knows what kind of door this could open for them in the future. I think it's a great idea.
Exactly.
Well, you have to look at like the mod modes that they already have in Halo 5. People literally made their own bedrooms into a map where people were fighting in, like, there were little tiny
the
Halos
Forge and stuff like that.
Yeah, like where you could actually build your own your own maps and stuff. And 343 can pretty much like look at that and be like, "Damn, that's amazing."
Oh, I'm sure
like,
they absolutely do.
It's a smart move for any high developer to take and actually allow fan-made stuff, because half the time, guess what, high developers, they're doing a better job than you.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna like argue that fact.
High developers, their biggest issue is they make something that was obviously amazing, but then they make another one and it still sells the same because they know it's going to sell because of the name. Yes, it's the name. They know it works, so they know they're going to sell it, and then that's what they stick with because they know it works. But at the same time, we lose out because they're not taking the risks to give us something new.
Yeah, but at the same time, you really can't blame them. I mean, like I said, the gaming industry is like bigger than the movie industry these days. They have budgets for video games that are like way more than like movies. Like, so they have like investors. They have to make this money back, so they get very safe, which is unfortunate. I think at the end of the day for gamers, yeah, they look pretty and all that kind of stuff, but they lack the innovation of the gameplay and stuff, and it's getting pretty stagnant.
Yeah. Which movies actually are now trying to come into video games. There's another one that's actually trying to District. I think it's like District 9. That movie. They're trying to bring that into a video game.
That would be an awesome video game.
That would be an awesome aliens freaking thing. Yeah, that would be awesome. But they're trying to get the rights now to bring it into a video game.
Cool.
So.
Let's move on to the next topic, which is, I think, going to stir up some controversy here. And I'll probably be called an Xbox hater or something about my opinion on it. But PlayStation Anthem trailer has the gameplay from the Xbox One X and controller buttons. But is it really Sony's fault? So we got to have a little bit of an update, because Sony has since removed the video, and the Xbox exec, Mr. Aaron Greenberg, had a little fun tweeting out like an oops thing with an article from Forbes and stuff with a laughing emoji and stuff, which is kind of funny at the end of the day. But my whole take on this, and I don't blame Microsoft with like the Witcher stuff and everything like that, and I don't really blame Sony on this one either, because they get the trailers and everything cut from the developers. It's not like Sony and Microsoft are taking that gameplay, making a trailer, and throwing it out there. They literally get all this gameplay and everything from them, and then they throw the Sony logos or the Microsoft logos and then upload it. So I don't really think they're at fault. I do think both of them, and Microsoft has done this in the past, need to come out and clear the air and being like, oops, sorry, it's not really our fault, but we will take responsibility for this, and say something like that. And to go on to the video too, is like, I literally had to go frame by frame to even see this. If you play through and we're just watching the gameplay, you barely even notice that there was like a hitch in the overlay at the bottom. And I was watching a lot of the video too, and I really don't think the overlay actually worked even on the Xbox side, because like you see him pushing rockets and all that kind of stuff. You don't see the overlay change any colors. You don't see the numbers change or anything. At least I didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think they just literally just put the overlay on there to show you what will be there. And who knows, maybe they were possibly trying to, they were making a PlayStation overlay as well. Like, half the time, these videos are just, like you said, they don't light up, and they're usually just the gameplay. They stick an overlay just to show you what the mapping buttons are going to look like, but half the time, you don't actually see them, unless you see live gameplay of it. But overall, when it comes to this whole thing, I do think, yes, Sony, more so EA, needs to come out and apologize, because EA shouldn't have sent
whoever
them.
was at fault. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is we don't really know. I mean, it's easy to say that it was EA, because it should be the publisher that's providing the video to Sony to put on the channel.
Correct.
But how much of a push was there from Sony to get an Anthem video that they could put on their channel? Was Sony the one saying, like, hey, we need to get this up, like it's getting a ton of hits on the Xbox channel and we want to get it on the PlayStation channel?
That's my thing too, Mike, is like, I mean, Anthem's still like in early development. Like how much? I think the slice that we saw at E3 is, just that. It was just a slice built for E3.
Right.
I don't think the game is like
Absolutely.
any kind of thing to be shown. So they probably had to use the same thing. I'm not giving them like a pass on that or anything.
I thought Anthem
I think it's still
was
shitty,
but
It was supposed to
exclusive
actually be
launch.
running.
I thought Anthem was supposed to be a launch exclusive for the Xbox.
I don't think
I
so.
think it's.
I think it
more
was
than
just they got the marketing deal.
that. Yeah, they got
Even
the
even
marketing.
if that's so, that means that it would come out on the Xbox first. But
No,
PlayStation will still get it eventually.
Yeah.
So they
I
can
think-
still post and talk about it if they want.
Right.
Yeah, after
And I
the
think what was making people more upset was the fact that they could see the old like left bumper, right bumper underneath the L1 and R1
Yeah,
overlay
yeah.
that they kind of
Yep.
like photoshopped into it. So a lot of people are saying, well, this video is not representative of what we're going to see on the PlayStation 4 Pro. Why can't Sony wait to get their own version of the video uploaded so that we as the consumer get a better idea of what we're going to see? And to people that say that, like, that's a valid point, but I mean, also, like GKB was saying, this is probably a vertical slice, not a full finished game.
Right.
So what we saw at E3, last month may not be what we see at E3 next year.
Exactly.
I don't think it's going to turn into another Watch Dogs, but don't forget Watch Dogs. I want to get that on a T-shirt.
Exactly,
Don't
bro.
forget Watch Dogs.
Don't forget
Damn.
Watch Dogs.
I think there's no excuse for this stuff in this day and age. Like, it's easy enough to get your own footage one way or another, and as long as they come out, they admit it, they rectify the issue, that sort of stuff. But at the same time, like, PC footage has been getting used for a very long time, and it's more understandable when you're using PC footage, considering that games are built on the PC. And again, as long as they put something underneath that says, this game may be representative of the final copy or may not, or whatever be the case. Like I said, it's happened on Microsoft's side. It's happened on Sony's side. It's not a good scenario, but people are making too much of it at the same time. Like,
I agree.
I get where they're going with it, and it's just such a minuscule little thing. But at the same time, you think that they would be able to go to EA and say, is there anything that you have that's that's obviously in a build phase for PlayStation that we can use or something, you know what I mean? It's just
Right.
it's just a whole lot of bad PR at the end of the day, and especially with a major title that Microsoft shows, sort of on its stage this year. It's almost like everything is trying to steal any bit of thunder that Microsoft is trying to get right now. That's what it feels like.
I don't know, like in this scenario though, I think it like helps out Microsoft. Like it's just making Sony look bad, even though it can or cannot be their fault. We don't know
Right.
for sure. But like I said, like I still go back to and to Mike's point too, is like the game is not done. Like I don't think they have any other footage to be put out there. And if it is going on Sony's platform as well, I think they also have the right to have a trailer up there and showing it off. And the same with Microsoft with, Sony, marketing things too. They have a right to put up trailers and stuff, regardless.
Unless it's the first Destiny, because we all know how that worked out for Microsoft and their
Yeah.
advertising campaign.
But you want to know my whole thing about this is, first off, how many of those trailers that are up on both of these are all actually PC renders? Like, first off, most of the gameplay we see at E3 and all that is PC. But guess what? Technically, Xbox and Sony are posting PC gameplay.
Well,
so,
but
yeah, but
for Anthem, didn't Eurogamer and Digital Foundry say that this was actually running on a 1X?
Well, they said the
that-
developer confirmed.
that's not the point that I'm getting at. The point I'm
Right,
getting
right.
at is no matter what, a trailer is just a trailer, guys. Getting a game out, like, we all bitch about how games are not getting marketed properly, that games are not getting heard because we're not seeing them. So, yes, okay, Anthem is going to be on PlayStation and Xbox. Who cares? The game's going to sell, which means there'll be more DLC, there'll be more things added. And the fact that Sony posted the whole trailer, who cares where it was from? It was literally a quick second. Obviously, people just decided to like go through and find this stupid little niche that could have been anything. Developer, Sony, whoever it could have been. And they made a big deal out of something that is really nothing. You're really pulling away
Yeah.
from the game itself
guess
because you're
that's a bigger
making
point.
this big stupid deal over a trailer. The
Well,
game
it's not
looks
like-
amazing though, and that's where my issue is coming in, is the fact that they're trying to at least get the game heard. Now all everyone's talking about is, oh my god, Sony ripped off this, instead of how amazing that game is actually going to look and how the game's going to come out next year.
Right.
And
It's not
that's
like the
what
game's
annoys
coming out
me.
in 3 months. It's coming out in like 15 months. So everybody just needs
Exactly.
to kind of
Yeah.
chill out, relax, and wait for the game to get close
Enjoy
to
the games,
completion.
Let's hope that at the end of the day, Anthem gets plenty of good press before it's
Yes.
released, because obviously seeing what the bad press has freaking done to Mass Effect, and it's a crying shame. We're going to talk about that a little
we're
bit
gonna
later.
talk about that for sure. That's
I think
Go ahead.
at the end of the, I mean, I talked about this with She-Wolf yesterday on the other show that we did, Gaming Den.
Gaming Den.
But
Shameless
so I
plug.
shared my thoughts on there. But besides that, at the end of the day, like, PlayStation needs to really
Yes.
comb through their footage for the future, so they won't have
I
to
agree.
deal with this shit anymore. I feel like they're both lazy on EA's part or Sony's part. Whoever had anything to do with the video, the editing, or whoever uploaded it, I think that they should have really looked at it, so they don't have to deal with this. But I mean, She-Wolf, obviously, I agree with you completely. It's about the game, not the issue of the video and the buttons and all that shit. But yeah.
I agree.
Like, people keep pointing out that, like, they did it to Xbox, yes, but at the same time, a lot of people seem to forget, and obviously it wasn't bring up because social media wasn't really a huge thing back then. Xbox did it to PlayStation for Watch Dogs, and obviously no one's bringing that up because they copied. They actually took
I think
images
at the
from
end
the
of the day,
PlayStation.
this like that's where I keep going back to. I think at the end of the day, this isn't really a big deal. The developer sends them the footage, whether it's PC or not. Like, at the end of the day, the game looks cool. It's going to be awesome. But like, to News Point, and I want to get back to that, is yes, it's all about the game and everything like that, and the game's going to be fantastic. But the problem is, with this day and age, it's like, if it's not 4K, if it's not this, the game sucks. Like, the same thing with the Mass Effect thing. Like, you went on and on and on about this game, and I don't want to get into this because we're going to talk about this in a little bit. But you literally destroyed that game from, like, stupid critiques, but at the end of the day, the game at its core was, like, a really good game. And it's just a shame that shit has to happen these days, that a game's not good because of 4K or this, that, and the other. It's just
I agree.
terrible.
I just think when it comes to this issue all on its own, I think EA is the one who should actually be blamed. Like, yes, okay, Microsoft or Sony should have, like,
They should have vetted the video.
I guess they should have looked at the video and
Frame
really
by frame.
But at the same time, if they're used, like, this has been obviously going on for who knows how long, they get trailers and stuff. So you would think by now they would just assume that the developers themselves would give them a copy that would work properly on for them to show. So EA actually needs to come out and apologize, or the developers of the game need to come out and apologize because of the fact that they're the ones that gave them this footage.
Well, we got to be fair. We don't know for sure.
I think it all comes down to who
I thought they
photoshopped
did
the,
come out and say
the
that.
bumpers.
I agree, Mike. It all comes down to who put that, who video edited it and did that terrible job and let it slip out. I agree, Jesse, in the chat. It's still dirty no matter who does it. I agree. That was a good topic. Got She-Wolf like all a little heated right there.
Well, yeah,
She's
because
like,
it's
screw
just,
you guys.
Well, no, everyone makes this big thing about marketing, but then they actually get the game out, and all everybody can talk about is this stupid little glitch in the friggin' video. Like,
Yeah, I just be happy.
that's
looking
what
at the video.
annoys me.
Cool. Let's go on to the next topic here, which is really interesting because I didn't think this was going to happen. And kudos to Nintendo. The Game Critic Awards for E3 came out, and Nintendo pretty much freaking sweeped a lot of the categories.
Yeah, they did.
Which is amazing. I'll go ahead and read through the categories, and we'll talk about this. So Best in Show was Super Mario Odyssey. Looked fantastic. Best Original Game was Mario and Rabbids Battle Kingdom. Best Console Game was Super Mario Odyssey. Best VR Game is Lone Echo. Best PC Game was Destiny 2. Best Handheld Game is Metroid Samus Returns. Best Hardware Peripheral, Xbox One X. Big shocker there. Best Action Game, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Best Action Adventure Game is Super Mario Odyssey. Best Role-Playing Game is Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdoms. That's a hard thing to say. Best Racing Game, surprise, surprise, Forza Motorsport 7. Best Fighting Game is Dragon Ball FighterZ, which that was really interesting to me.
Yeah, that game looks awesome.
Best Sports Game was FIFA 18. Best Strategy Game, Mario and Rabbids Battle Kingdom. That game is on here like multiple times. Best Family Game is Hidden Agenda. Best Online Multiplayer is Star Wars Battlefront 2. Best Independent Game is The Artful Escape. Wow, Nintendo.
Okay.
I gotta go
Everybody
rant.
loves Mario.
I gotta rant a little bit about Nintendo because when the Switch released, everybody was down on the shit out of this thing. Nobody was gonna buy it. this, that, and the other, has no games, blah, 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 blah. It is winning NPDs and probably would win every single one of them up until November when the Xbox One X comes out. If they can get these goddamn things on shelves and keep them on shelves, and their games are cleaning up the awards. Like,
Wait,
crazy.
Okay, hold on. How are the Critic Awards actually, like...
So you have to be an executive editor at a lot of publications. There's like 30 or 40 publications. You have to go around and actually play the game. It has to be at least a 5-minute demo to be qualified, and it has to be playable on the E3 floor to be qualified in any of these things. So Anthem was not playable.
Okay, so... This is the stupidest thing ever.
How stupid.
Playing 5 minutes of a game is
No, it has
not-
to be at least a 5-minute demo.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it was only 5 minutes.
At least a 5-minute demo.
That's a qualification for it to be in the awards.
Still not even actually getting to try. Like, anyone can take the best part of a game that could literally be only 5 minutes long, and the rest of the game could suck.
Okay, but it's the criteria to be accepted into the
Don't
judging
care.
thing.
That's stupid.
It just has to be at least
The games aren't even out yet. You don't
Most
even
of
get
them,
to.
though, are about like 30 minutes to an hour long demos.
And again, they're still demos. None of the games are actually released. Like,
Well, it's more of a best at show award, so it's,
Yes.
kind of like when you do a car show, like, this is the best looking model for 2017, but you haven't been able to drive it yet. They're just
but
judging
you're
off of what they
seeing
have
it though.
available.
You just
You're
said
seeing the
it's
game,
the
too.
best. Not really. I don't know. I still think some of these awards are just like. Do you know how many games get left out then? If that's only like a lot of game, like for instance,
so
someone
you
just
would put
pointed
a
out, like,
game,
Sea
a
of
trailer
Thieves.
onto.
Sea of Thieves was playable. How come that got nothing? Like,
Well, it was also playable the last couple of years too.
yeah, exactly. A lot of these games were probably
Only
playable.
last year, I
like,
think.
I don't
But,
care. This-
Good.
No, it's about Sea of Thieves. Wow. I don't. Even if they do have these awards, I guess it's fine just to have that little sticker on, on your badge that says I got E3 Best Show, whatever. But it doesn't mean I agree with most of these.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
the Mario
I don't
Rabbids
understand
game
how
out.
the hell Mario got so much. And for me, it
'cause
didn't
was
look
the
that
only one you could
interesting.
play.
But I understand that some people like it. So yeah, I don't agree with most of these.
Interesting. I thought Mario honestly looked fantastic. I thought the gameplay was awesome. I thought like going through a 3D environment and then into the 2D like old school was like really cool.
I'm
Like, popping in
excited.
and out.
I just don't think that this is fully fair because all the games that were shown at E3, like, okay, so I'm
Okay,
kind of
so-
getting the concept of this. It's an E3 showing, and it's
Yes.
pretty much awards
What's,
for E3.
what is the problem with it not being fair? Because they all have the same rules and stuff. So if
But
they all fit
if-
into the rules, they get part of the judging.
But if there
show.
were games there that just weren't playable, that I don't think is fit. Like, the fact that there were other games that we know
How
of.
can you judge a trailer on gameplay?
But obviously there was some gameplay. They played a freaking demo apparently, so.
I mean, a scripted trailer though is I'm not. It's not. You can't play that. Is what I'm saying. Like, how can you judge a game based on that? Is
There's
what I'm
demos.
getting
Everyone has demos of their
Anyway.
freaking game.
at. What's everybody else's opinion? She was getting crazy right now.
There's a lot of Mario love. That's all I can say. I don't think that's a bad thing.
I'd
I
expect
think
that.
maybe there was, like, yeah, I expect Mario. Mario is coming back. We haven't seen a new Mario game for a while, and the last one that came out was on the Wii U, and not too many people had that. So a lot of people are excited for Mario, but I do think they went a little overboard with handing awards to them. But like what you were saying, I wasn't at E3. I didn't get to see what games had demos and which ones didn't. So I don't know what all they were up against. I would like to see not just who won the award, but what other games were considered for the award. So then I could see
Thank you. The runners
were
up.
they fanboying out over Mario, or like were there any worthwhile games that they were even comparing these games to? Like what was the list of all of the applicants for each category? That's what I'd be more interested to see. Then I could make a better case in point against whether Mario deserved this award, or was it just Mario's back, so he's getting awards. It's
Yeah, I
hard to
mean,
say.
like if you look at E3 though, I mean, like, yeah, they showed a lot of games, but that's kind of like my point I was going back with She-Wolf about is like there was a lot of games there, but a lot of them were trailers, and like the criteria is you have to be able to play them and have a significant demo. So
I thought Assassin was playable. From what I remember, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there was a playable
think
demo for that. And I'm
yeah,
surprised that didn't get like a best
Yeah.
action adventure game. considering, like Mario gets the game of show, and then action adventure doesn't go to a different game. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just comes down to personal preference of the executives that are giving these awards out.
Does Wolfenstein go up against Assassins in best action game or is best action adventure game? I guess it goes back to your point, like what is the criteria? But I guess best action game would probably be like where Assassin's Creed Origin would be, because Wolfenstein's in there. And I'm gonna be honest, I think Wolfenstein's a better game.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. When it comes to these awards and stuff, again, I fully agree with Mike. I would have liked to have seen the runners up.
Yep,
and see what they actually had to go against. And I'd kind of like to know exactly who did the awards. Because
even like an award that I feel is entirely justifiable is the best fighting game, the Dragon Ball FighterZ. That game looked awesome, but what other fighters were at E3 that were playable?
That's the thing, is like what
other only game in the category, then it's kind of like a cop out. Like, oh, well, this is the only one that we could nominate, so it wins, yay!
But I mean, like, if there was other like fighters that were shown off, like say they had the trailers, would you also think it was fair like the trailer goes against an actual somebody playing the game? Like,
no, I understand the demo thing. Like, I completely agree with the demo thing. Okay, trailers, whatever, take out. But there was still a lot of other games that were playable.
I mean, I agree with your point. Like, if Dragon Ball Z was the only fighter game that could be played, then yeah, it wins by default. But
the only other one I could think of would be the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which I'm not hearing good things about the demo, so I'm not surprised it did.
Yeah, I played that. I was not happy.
I'm not happy with it either, Fox.
Just remember, though, that the final products may change, and while a lot of games sometimes brag about their game of the show and they're winning the categories, I can think of a couple of games that had lots of these game of shows, best category, blah, blah, blah. First of all, like Mass Effect Andromeda. I hate to have to bring it up because it's one of my favorite games and all that stuff, but that was like most anticipated, and that had a bunch of stuff like last year, whenever it was, and then it comes out and it barely moves the radar. Street Fighter V is another one that had all these accolades, then it comes out like a half-finished game and doesn't really sell that well.
Didn't No Man's Sky get a lot of everybody was praising it at E3, and then it comes out 2 months later and it's like, oh,
that's a fair point.
Yeah,
that's a fair
point.
My only thing is
Mario looks great.
I really I'm actually really excited for Mario Odyssey, but I guess it comes back to the whole demo thing. I understand their criteria, but if, say, for instance, Mario had an hour trailer and, say, I don't know, Assassin's Creed only had 10 minutes, how is that really fair to justify who wins just, like, when you get to spend more time?
Yeah, but you can play an hour of a shitty game and still it's a shitty game. It doesn't going to change the fact.
But at the same time...
And you play 10 minutes of a fantastic game, it's still a fantastic game.
But again, it depends what part of the game that they're letting you play. That's the thing. I just don't think that it's really fairly done.
Fair enough. And I agree with your points.
Are they kind of favoring Nintendo because it's Nintendo?
Well, that's the thing, like me and Mike are talking about.
Nintendo fanboys.
Well, we tend to see
Nintendo
that
gets a lot of love, I agree.
Half the time, I'm...
Too much.
When it comes to the whole gaming journalists, a lot of these guys have a set preference of games that they like to play. So they don't like the other games, or they care less about the other genres, which that kind of bothers me, because if you say you just like Mario because the fact it hits that spot, obviously you're going to give that the top rank all across the board.
Nostalgia.
Yes, exactly. And say you don't like that journalist who doesn't like shooters or whatever, so they gave one of the, I think it was Gears or something, they gave it a bad rating because they don't actually like that kind of game. Why'd you play it? Why did you even judge it if that's not your genre of games? So at the end
of the day, though, it's not one person that makes the outcome. That's why they have a group of 40.
There is
yes,
sorry.
It's not just one person. People from all the publications go around, play all the games.
Okay. I'm sorry, that was my bad.
They do a
then.
checklist.
I didn't realize.
I was kind of confused that I was like,
what? I didn't realize that. Okay, well, still.
I think it's easy for people to get.
Good.
I think it's easy for people to get emotionally attached as well to games that they have that affliction to from back in the day. Like a lot of the people that go to these shows that have any influence on the shows, they're older gamers that came up through the Nintendo era, that sort of thing. I mean, heck, for that, as far as it goes, look at Crash Bandicoot, the new game, for example. That game is getting more love now as a remake than the original trilogy probably ever did.
Right,
you know what I mean? It's just. and it's not that great of a game according to the people I'm talking to. Me, some people are saying it's amazing, but I'm hearing other people say the game still has some messed up controls, blah 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 blah. So like that's what I'm saying. Like Mario has that stigma. It's almost like it's Mario. Like everybody's raving about Breath of the Wild, and you know, honestly, after me playing it, it's a great game, but it's not even close to my game of the year, and everybody's raving about that too. Like it's just a thing with Nintendo. It's like they can do no wrong. I don't know what it is. It's just I think there's always that extra hype that builds up around their games, and I think people carry that over into some of their. It's like movies sometimes. You never know. Like you ever go in and watch a movie at the theater?
Started it. Like Nintendo was there for most of these gamers
back in the 80s.
At the
a lot of us grew up on Nintendo, and you know, we have an affliction towards.
But you know what I mean? You guys ever go into a movie theater, you watch a movie, and you come out and you think it was the best thing you've ever seen, like that movie was so good, and then all of a sudden it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, and you watch it again and go, I can't believe I liked that movie so much when I first watched it.
Sometimes that happens, but majority of the time I like it either way. But yes, I know what you're saying, for sure. But yeah, I mean, back to the whole Nintendo thing. Yeah, I think a lot of people out there just have this great fascination with Nintendo. I also think a lot of their IPs are pretty universal. Like anybody can pick them up and play them, kind of thing. So they got a lot of good things going for them. I'm not like gonna.
I think Zelda's funny though because they literally don't have to put all that much effort into doing anything, but yet they always seem to win everything. I just think it's funny, like. They literally don't have a show, but yet they win the award. Like, I just think it's funny.
And one thing it definitely shows you is that, a game like Mario Odyssey or the Mario Rabbids strategy game, it's not all about how many pixels you're pushing per frame or how many frames you're pushing per second. It's about the gameplay. And that's, I think, one of the more important takeaways from the awards that were given out here.
I still stick, understandable, but I still stick with the fact that, even though now I know there's 40 people, even though I didn't know that before, I still stay with the fact that it's personal preference. So if they're leaning more towards Nintendo or PlayStation or something like that, then that's what they're going to pick, especially if they have a favorite franchise and stuff like that. Doesn't mean that I agree with them, doesn't mean that they have the same taste as me. Out of everything that I saw, I think Forza stood out to me because GT Sport was a playable demo as well, and they had the whole setup with the car and the wheel and the steering wheel and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. But again, I'm not surprised because Forza looks awesome. But yeah, I don't agree with most of the awards that they gave out, but either way, it's fine. At the end of the day, we'll see when the full game comes out.
Cool. All right, that was a good topic.
I just wanted to add one thing before we switch over.
Yeah, sure. Man.
I'm going to warn all my Canadian brothers and sisters out there, guys. It's a good thing Nintendo's games are damn good because it looks like EB Games, looks like the Canadian branch of GameStop is going to be charging, and I guess this is probably for most retailers, $99.99 for most of the Nintendo titles. And now it says on their website a placeholder price, but here's what makes me think this is the legitimate price because I noticed that Sonic Mania, Sonic Mania is selling for $89.99, and it does not say placeholder, so I could totally see Nintendo jacking the first-party games up to $99 totally, which is $40 more than our U.S. counterparts.
Jim,
so
you might as well just send us money and we'll ship you the game.
For real.
Get your shit together. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm tired of this take advantage of the Canadians. What? So we don't, because our population's not big enough to support. I don't know what it is, but Sony's been at it. Fucking now Nintendo's at it, and I'm freaking pissed. Like, because it's at the point, you think we were just freaking stupid up here? Is that what it is? That Canadians are just gullible and will buy shit in a bag? Like, what is it, man? Like, Nintendo, get your stuff together, because if that's the real price, that might be the last game I'll buy for my Switch, or I might even trade in my Switch, period.
Yeah, like Timodos and like Australia guys, they get screwed over too. Like, just
don't trade it in, sell it. You'll probably... Half the people can't find them anymore, so you probably get some good money for it.
Australia's on the other side of the world. Their shipping costs alone are probably crazy, but Canada's across the freaking border.
Yeah, you guys are. I don't know. I don't understand it either, man. But all right, let's get into our first segment. We're gonna go ahead and do the Out Now with Magic Mike. What can we go spend our money on? Some new games, bruh.
All right, everyone. Let's talk about what's out now. So this past Friday, June 30th, we got 2 game releases. One of them we mentioned earlier. Noof was talking about it. On the PlayStation 4, we got the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy release. Been doing quite well. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's been getting a lot of love. So if you got a PS4 and you're looking for something to get for it, seems like that's going to be a good option for you. Also on Friday, for both the Wii U and the Switch, we got the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC. So for those of you that finished up The Legend of Zelda and are looking for some more content to go with it, there you go. With this being a holiday week, that's pretty much all that we got as far as retail releases that I'm aware of. But we do have some new additions to the Xbox Game Pass. For July, we got 7 new games added into that.
7.
Yep, we got the Dead Island Definitive Edition, Resident Evil 6, the remake. We got F1 2015, The Flame in the Flood. I've heard a lot of good things about that, but I've also heard kind of mixed things. So it's
like a survival game, so you kind of.
If you've got Game Pass, give it a shot. I mean, you might fall in love with it. Guacamelee, the Super Turbo Championship Edition, which was one of the games with gold, I want to say about maybe a year or 2 ago. It's a really fun side-scroller, beat-em-up type game. Also, we got Bard's Gold added to the Game Pass, and Monaco, What's Yours is Mine.
Nice.
And then also, recently, Larry Herb announced that we got some new additions to the Xbox Backwards Compatibility Program. So 5 new games came out within this week to backwards compatibility. We got Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So now you can pretty much play every Assassin's Creed game from the last generation on your Xbox One. Blazing Angels also came out. Now that's a disc-only version. Unless you have previously purchased the digital version, it's no longer available for digital distribution due to licensing. So disc-only for Blazing Angels. Cyber Troopers Virtual on Rotario Tangram.
That's a mouthful.
Sounds like a great game just based on its title alone. I need to go buy that now. Not really. Also, we got Radiant Silvergun and Wolf of the Battlefield Commando 3. I think out of all those, the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is probably the standout 360 title that came to backwards compat.
Correct. I would agree with you on that one. Awesome, bro.
Yep,
Good
and that pretty much sums up. That's what's out now.
Sweet.
Nice. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. All right, let's get into some Phil Spencer talk. Phil Spencer will not give up on the Japanese market. No matter how they don't sell over there, he is dead set on making Xbox One and Xbox One X the thing over there. So let's go ahead and read a little bit of this. Microsoft's Xbox division head Phil Spencer promised that Japan will get the Xbox One X during an interview with the Japanese magazine Weekly Famitsu. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Spencer also admitted that Japan is not the biggest market for the Xbox, but for him, it's a very important market. I think for him and Seamus Backley, I always say his name wrong, but the godfather of the Xbox. They always want to do really well in the Japan market. And he definitely wants to release the new console there. He recognized that the country has a very passionate game community and promised that he will never give up on Japan. What do you guys think?
I don't blame him.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think it's good that he's going to keep supporting Japan because, I'm sure he doesn't expect it to sell, more than maybe 100,000 at most within the first 2 years. I mean, we know it doesn't sell very well in Japan. But there are Xbox gamers in Japan. There are military personnel from the United States stationed in Japan. It's good that they'll have that option. And even though we may laugh like he's, continuing to dedicate himself to that market, like it would probably be a lot worse if he said we're pulling out of Japan.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think he'd come out and say, we're not going to give the Xbox to Japan anymore. That would be like a PR nightmare for sure.
Right. So, he's not going to give up on it, but hopefully he's not spending millions on marketing out in Japan because I think that would be like throwing money down the toilet.
Yeah, I mean, to Blue Rain, he's like, sweet, yeah, he's going after her. And I think part of that, too, is he wants the Xbox to have more of a presence there because I think it's going to help out the Xbox bring some of those Japanese games over there. He's already taken flights over there, talked to some people. Got Dragon Ball Z, which I thought was a really nice pickup.
That's the thing. There's a lot. Even though they are JRPGs and all that, there's actually a lot of great Japanese developers And we all know that their culture alone, they thrive on education. And so the developers and gaming, like, that's why most of the time Sony does so well with selling their consoles and their games. And they do, you know, we hear a lot about the game list on how many games they have. And most of them are Japanese titles. And so to get some of those to come into the US, I really don't see a bad thing. I think what Phil Spencer is doing is, one, he's branching out the Xbox brand in general to gamers. And that alone is an important move because everyone should be able to enjoy playing no matter what system you're playing on. And I think that there is a lot of, like I said, great developers and, you know, good games that are over there that probably don't get the light that they should. Because, you know, most of us are like, wow, JRPGs, yeah. But do
they do, like, well on the Xbox console? Because
I
get, like, the whole...
because of the fact that they're like, is that the reason?
At the same point, I'm kind of like, gamers are very fickle. Like, we want everything and then don't support everything that we say we want. Like, I'm going to be straight up honest.
Please, that's people in general.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
People in general, you want something, but when you
think
get
gamers, though, are pretty goddamn bad when it comes to this. And I don't care if anybody gets pissed off at what I'm saying because I'm telling you the fucking truth. We say a lot of shit, and then you go and see the sales numbers. Yeah, you didn't really want that shit. And I think Xbox also looks at those. And, yeah, I think it's a really cool thing to say, yeah, we want all these games. But I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't going to play that shit. And I think there's a lot of people like me out there that isn't going to play that shit and devote all the kind of time that you need for a JRPG and all that kind of stuff. I
don't mean just.
I can't even get through the fucking Witcher. Like,
but I mean, like, fighters and, you know, there is other games that are from Japanese developers that would, like, we see a lot of great games that do come from Japanese developers, like Metal Gear. We saw Death Stranding. Even that game looks like it's going to be outstanding if we ever actually see it come out. But
well, like every game that Capcom makes, you know, that's a Japanese developer.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the important thing is that they're getting the Xbox One X out in Japan, and more importantly, they're getting it out there for the Japanese developers because I mean, we do want to see games come to the Xbox One X, regardless of whether they're your type of game or not. There's a gamer out there that's going to want to play that, and it's better to have a presence in Japan than to make deals and spend money to get Japanese games onto your platform where they may not sell and you may not recover that investment with the Japanese developers. So just having some portion of the mind share out there, having it in the Japanese developers' hands, letting them see the hardware, that I think is the important call out from them continuing to support the Japanese market.
See, this is one time where I think Microsoft may have done better if they had went into the portable market. And the reason I say that because you look at the success of handhelds in Japan, it's like predominantly much better than it is even here. Like 3DS, PlayStation Vita, PSP, like all those handhelds have thrived much more than they have in North America and other parts of the world. Microsoft, though, I mean, I commend them for trying to keep the market alive. And I think a big reason that Phil does that is simply because if he gives up completely on the Japanese market, a lot of developers may give up completely on Xbox, whatever the hell that was.
Somebody fall over?
I think somebody's market just crashed in their house.
I'm good. I didn't fall.
Okay.
That's pretty funny.
You know, so like that's, I think that's part of the reason, because if they give up there, Japanese developers, when trying to get games, they might say, well, like, you guys don't support us, you don't put your system out. You know, it's a hard thing. I think if the original Xbox had been a huge success, I think things would have been much differently for the 360, because everything is based on like a predetermined set place. Like Sega and Nintendo thrive because they're Japanese companies. At one point, you know, I mean, Sony is too, but see, that's the thing. At one point, Sony never made video games. Sony was like a TV manufacturer. We knew them for their Walkman and their televisions and blah blah blah. But all of a sudden, they jump into the games market and they hit lightning in a bottle with PlayStation, and it's been successful for them ever since. You know, like Sega could probably jump back into the games race and do really well in Japan, but how well would they do in North America and Europe is anyone's guess. So, you know,
Mario's Japanese. Everybody,
but it's not on Xbox though.
Yeah.
No, but everybody loves freaking Mario and Nintendo. They're a Japanese company.
Yeah,
like
I think Noof made a really good point about like the handheld thing. I could definitely see like I don't think Microsoft's going to do this. I don't think it's ever going to be in their plans for like a handheld. But if they did have that and it took off into the Japanese market and they built games for that, that feeds into the Xbox ecosystem.
Maybe they're trying to win over Nintendo. I don't know.
Like isn't the Apple iPhone successful?
Yeah.
Like, you also have to look at, okay, they're not only going into Japan. Like, they're also, okay, if they wouldn't have actually focused on getting their console and stuff like that and their games over to Japan, there wouldn't be crossplay. Like, he took all that effort and actually worked with...
There still isn't crossplay with Sony.
No, I'm not talking about Sony. I'm talking about Nintendo. Nintendo is still a Japan company. So, like, he still took that initiative and, you know, is working with Nintendo on getting crossplay. This is a first step. So there could be more things that could actually branch out from a relationship between Nintendo and Xbox that we could see in the future because of this.
I agree.
And again, I see a lot of people pointing out like Dark Souls.
The Switch and all that kind of stuff, like doing its great success. Like I said, if they can keep this thing on shelves, it's going to sell and probably win a lot of MPDs this year for the rest of the year. Probably till the Xbox One X comes out, and I think that's going to dominate. But with that success, do you think Nintendo is going to be like, hey, here's our new Mario IP that's going to be on the Xbox? I don't think so.
Not necessarily Mario, but there could be more crossplay depending on like fighters. They could bring characters over. Like there is other things they can do without actually giving their game to Xbox. Is all I'm getting at. Like there's still a relationship. Forming a relationship still at least opens the door to opportunity. And that's where I'm kind of more going towards when it comes to Microsoft and working with the Japan companies, because there is still a lot. And like someone pointed out in the chat, games originated in Japan. Like that is one of the biggest points of where video games have been worked on. And to bring into that culture and keeping Xbox into the loop over there is not a bad idea at all, because you're still opening up, like I said, doors to opportunities and putting your hand out there to have other opportunities come back to the Xbox.
Yes, I agree with like your statements of getting it out there into the market, you know, feeds all those possible opportunities. But possible is the big word in there.
Okay, well, you like Dark Souls, and that's a JRPG.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a big AAA title where the From Software guys want that on every platform. But I mean, you've seen like they make Bloodborne for Sony. That's not coming to Xbox.
Yeah, but now if Xbox would have been actually more focused in the Japanese side of things, could we have actually gotten
I'm just saying,
Bloodborne?
I think.
I think
good.
Sony paid. Sony owns the Bloodborne IP, so Sony commissioned
I know,
that.
But it was just an example of more or less like
Right,
if
right.
Xbox was more like connected with the Japanese market, would they've actually had the chance to have the games like Bloodborne? Is more of what I'm getting at with that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I get that. I would just point out that example, like, you know, it's not like that could have come to Xbox because it wasn't even, you know, pushed out by the developer as like a third party that maybe they could get a deal for. It was just more of a, like, my understanding at least is Sony went to them and said, hey, we want another game from you that's in line with your Dark Souls franchise because we know how well it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. You know, Xbox needs to make that outreach, and hopefully from Phil's trips to Japan, we'll start to see something come of that. You know, whether it's, you know, characters or crossplay or anything like what we're seeing with the Switch and the Xbox doing crossplay and stuff. Just making that a larger community and getting Xbox involved with the Japanese developers is going to be good for Xbox gamers as a whole, whether they're your cup of tea or not. It's just more games is always a good option.
Yeah, I think him going out there posturing and saying, hey, here's the Xbox One X and, you know, go have fun and all that kind of stuff is really great. I just think at the end of the day, until Microsoft becomes like the market share leader, because all this at the end of the day is business. Money makes the world go around. Until Microsoft is in that number one spot, I don't foresee like crazy things happening, like them getting like a Bloodborne or anything kind of like that. I just don't see it. I'm gonna be brutally honest with people. Like I just don't see it. I think it's great. I think it's awesome that he wants to keep it up in there. But I don't know how fruitful it's gonna be at the end of the day. We'll have to wait and see though.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter how many marketing dollars you spend in Japan.
Yes.
If 9 out of 10 kids on your street all have PlayStation,
nobody's getting an Xbox.
that's what the next person's going to buy. They're not going to go, I'm going to buck the trend and get the Xbox. Like there has to be a reason to get an Xbox for them. And Shiva makes a good point. There's not enough of the types of games essentially that they enjoy. You know what I mean? Like we're still trying in our country here. We're still trying to sell a lot of our audience on Japanese games, and you see the response. I mean, while they sell okay here, obviously the Japanese RPG games don't sell near as well in our side of the world as they sell over there. That's the reason they make so many of them over there. Look at the PS Vita. I mean, every game that still comes out for that thing is like a Japanese RPG game. And why? Because it sustains enough sales in Japan that they can still bring it over here, and it's above and beyond. Like if it does well, great. So that's a big thing. Like I think Xbox has become, like some people say, the shooter box. And like Halo, as big as that franchise is, a multi-billion-dollar franchise, I don't think that game sells particularly well over it, and it's not going to because there's not enough consoles in homes. But people just generally don't care for those type of games. It's like I said, their market is very skewed in a different direction, and Xbox is just not the platform really. And I don't know if it's ever going to change unless Microsoft hits up with some type of game. It had like they can turn it around. Anything's possible, but it needs to be like it has to be a lightning in a bottle. It has to be kind of like the original Wii unit, which kind of was above and beyond expectations. Like they need some type of game that just sets the industry on fire, much like Pokemon goaded for you know what I mean? Like that's what they need. They need something that goes that everybody can go, wow.
I don't see how they're going to do that when they're hanging on by a string right now. Because the original Xbox actually had a lot of Japanese games or RPG games, Sega games, and it did okay. Then the 360 came out and it did better, but still not that great. PS3 was always on top over there. And they actually had exclusive titles like Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon and stuff like that on the 360 that was beloved titles. And they did better, like I said, than the OG, but not that great. Now you have this one, which is hanging on by a string, not selling well. And most of those titles that you guys mentioned that are multiplats, they come out on PlayStation and Nintendo first, and they don't hardly come out the same day on the Xbox.
It's true.
They have shitty marketing over there, and we complain about our marketing here for Xbox, and they basically have none over there. I mean, you're lucky if you walk into a store and see anything green with an Xbox logo on it. Yeah. So I'm surprised that he still wants to keep fighting for it. So that's cool for, the 10 fans that are in Japan that own Xbox. That's nice. But they're not going to get the games at the same time. And it feels, or it looks like a lost cause in a way.
Yes, I agree. And you made a fantastic point, like with the 360, like that set the world on fire when the 360 came out. It was destroying, the PS3 in the beginning, and it finally did catch up at the end. But for a good while there, and they still weren't getting the support from Japan. And like, I just find it weird that, Phil comes out and says these things, and like it's going to be like a revolution when the Xbox One X comes out. I still don't think anything's going to change regardless. I mean, I'll probably be called a hater or whatever for that, but I mean, honestly, like, think about it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I agree.
Especially when they're the ones that came in last. Nintendo and PlayStation already been there. Yep. So people already have the love for that. And then you got this, American company over here trying to do something. And they haven't really proved themselves over there in a way.
Yeah, they're very, like, I mean, their culture and everything is like, we're all about Japan and all that kind of stuff. And that's fantastic. Like, I wish our country was like still, but yeah, I mean, they're just all about like, Japan and everything, and they support, their brands and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just don't see us making much of a dent with the Xbox over there. We'll see.
Yeah.
We might get some cool stuff. Who knows? Let's talk about some other shit that's pissing me off.
Wow. Okay.
Woo! You get me fired up.
2-hour show?
No. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
He said no. I don't know.
This one's going to get me a little freaking irritated, though. Mass Effect Andromeda single-player DLC is freaking canceled. This is a fucking shame. A frigging shame. So let's read some stuff here. Kotaku's Jason Schreier, which is a guy who you either love him or hate him, is reporting, is reporting that BioWare's insistent Oh God, I can't even read today. So tired.
He's so mad. He's so mad right now.
Yeah, I can't even read. Anyway, BioWare's not getting any more freaking goddamn DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda. The team's been pretty much put on other projects, and they're only going to be making basic updates and some multiplayer content going forward. I think this really sucks. Yeah, there were some issues with Mass Effect Andromeda. I really championed this game because I thought at its core it was still Mass Effect. It went into a different direction, which I enjoy seeing, games do that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, people just whining and crying about stupid animations and this, that, and the other, and now we're not getting any DLC for this game.
I'm not surprised.
What do you mean you're not surprised?
There was so much hate when this game released, and obviously they decided they don't want to waste their time. It is a shame. Yes, obviously, there's a lot of Mass Effect. Sorry, Jamie. I'm sure your heart is probably crying right now.
Yeah, where's Jamie at? Where's all those gifts, bro?
But I just, it sucks. But at the same time, are we surprised? Like, it got crushed. And it seems that's what it all comes back to, is that the social media and their bias tends to determine what comes out from a game nowadays. It seems like, I don't know if that's actually the cause, but it just seems to be very
related.
A
lot of developers are gun shy about showing
of
stuff
doing
off
anything because they're getting so much hate from gaming journalists who claim that they know everything.
You get montages of 30
yeah.
animations, and you think that's one player's playthrough.
Instead of giving a game something fair, though.
What also didn't help them out was the EA Access demo. You got a 10-hour demo, which is a lot of time to spend on the game, but you're stuck on the first planet for 10 hours. The game really opens up after you get off EOS. There's a lot more to the Andromeda universe, the galaxy that you don't get to see, and a lot of the best moments of the game are not in that demo. If anything, that demo just gives you like a brief little taste of what's in store. And you can't even really level up your character that high in the demo either. I think there's like a level cap as well, so you don't get to see all the cool powers that you can unlock and all the cool gameplay mechanics that go with building your power combos on top of each other. The game is like you were saying, it's Mass Effect at its core. If you're a huge Mass Effect game, you kind of picked up on that and you wanted to keep playing it. But for somebody that was new to the franchise, that demo that came out a week before the game's launch probably turned more people away than turned people onto the game.
That demo should have only been 2 hours long. They should have kept it at 2 hours. And overall, I never played the other Mass Effects, and I went into this game and it bored me. I'm sorry, but being a new gamer to the experience, it didn't do anything for me. And that could have been part of the reason to why they decided why bother making DLC for it when, maybe obviously it didn't sell as good as they wanted it to, and that goes to either they messed things up and didn't do things properly, or honestly, I think this game maybe just got rushed a bit too much, and I think they should have taken more time to focus on the bugs and adding this stuff to the game instead of just trying to rush to get the game out, because I think there's a lot of hit or miss.
I think with the DLC being canceled... Sorry, Fox, go ahead.
That's okay.
I was going to say, with the DLC being canceled, there is an aspect to Andromeda where, you have to be connected in order to get some little extra events that pop up when you're on your ship where you can, it's kind of like almost like a strategy aspect of it where you send people out to, get resources and stuff. I haven't actually done it too much, so I don't know the exact moment. But I know in the login screen, as soon as you turn the game on, it says once you get online and connected to that server. So EA and BioWare, they can tell how many people are still actively playing this game. And if the player base has dropped off significantly, then, they're probably looking at, well, we have maybe 100,000 people playing the game on a monthly basis. Why are we going to release DLC that's going to cost us more to continue development on than what we're likely going to sell? Because out of those, however many people are still active in the player base, less than half of them are probably going to buy the DLC. And how much is it going to cost to keep running this DLC into the ground?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. There's a couple of reasons why I feel like this game failed in a way. She-Wolf is right with the whole media and everybody talking shit and not just focusing on the game itself, but just making fun of all the things that were wrong with it or whatever. And also the fact that they had the wrong team and developers on it. They should have had the A-team who knew the game and knew what to do in the future with it, for it, or whatever. So I feel like it was messed up from the get, and I wish it did better. And whether it was canceled or they didn't even plan to do this DLC, because I'm not sure the information, but it doesn't matter now. It sucks because I know some people would like to see more from this game, but they already like separated the team. They already moved them to different locations. They already like are doing other projects, so that sucks. And the only ones that are left are like people doing updates and stuff like that for the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Timidos is saying that the DLC is not canceled, saying that the team that worked on it or something didn't confirm it's somebody else, I guess. So I don't know.
You know, I had heard that there was a bit of back and forth. Like first it came out that it was canceled, and then they said it wasn't canceled, and then they came out again and said it definitely is canceled.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there was like a Facebook post that was like not true, but some of the stuff that they said in the Facebook post actually turned out to be true. And the guy from Kotaku was talking to the developers and stuff, and they pretty much said no.
So Sinclair Network was later determined as fraudulent. While we
That's
can,
the Facebook guys.
Yeah, we can talk about future. We cannot talk about the future yet. I can deny. I can say we built our own DLC patch for our gamers and didn't hire fake companies to do so.
What?
That's what it says.
Yeah, that's the Facebook post. That's totally rubbish.
Well, no, that's what was said on Twitter by the producer. The producer said, I can definitely say we built our own DLC and patches for our games, and we did not hire fake companies to do so. So one of the things was that the DLC was apparently, I guess, made by like somebody else, not somebody like of the game. And
well, he's talking about the Facebook post where they were saying all this other stuff, and that turned out to not be true. And then later on, the developers were asked from the Kotaku guy, and they pretty much said, no, the team is split up. Like, how are they making DLC if the teams are working on other projects, guys? Like, come on. they can't. Yeah. They have a very small team left.
So the DLC never existed is what I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, I think they had plans for DLC, but I think just the
never was
the whole response
came to fruition.
The whole response to the game.
I'm like GKB. I'm super excited. I mean, GKB, we go back months ago. Both of us were probably two of the most excited people on the panel. I'm sure Mike very much as well, but I know you and I brought this up multiple times about how excited we were for the game. And me, like, I'm a huge fan of the series. I'm also very proud that the other Mass Effects were made right here, basically in my hometown off of Edmonton, Alberta. I'm not sure why they handed off such a massive project to such an inexperienced team. That still kind of baffles me. I mean, the look where it is now, the franchise essentially has a big question mark over it, and this should have been one that was almost a guaranteed can't miss. But the problem here again, and it's not entirely like on the media, but the problem when you bring out a brand new game like Mass Effect with so much hype, so much anticipation, and the first month it's on the shelves, nobody's talking about the things the game did right or what they like. We're talking about googly eyeballs, and we're talking about bad, like for the whole month, that's all we heard was how bad this is, how bad this is, how bad something else is. And the game did a lot of things right as well. I think the game suffered in some areas, like its lack of focus. The scope was sometimes too big, and it felt like the game just missed out. Like, it should have been a little more linear, like, because a lot of the planets you got on had some great missions, but then you were doing too many of the same things on every other planet. Like the game becomes a sludge. I mean, I've been at the game now for well over 40 hours, and I still like out of the mission.
If you're like breaking it out, bro, I don't know what's going on there.
About trying to get with an alien in the bedroom as opposed to actually going out and doing a mission. That tells you something right there.
Wow.
But it did a lot of things right. Some people are just angry because Shepard was in the lead character and the story didn't continue or whatever, like that sort of thing. But the game did a lot of stuff right. The combat and controls were the best in the series. The graphics, as bad as some people say they are, look, go back and look at the other Mass Effect games, and trust me, these graphics are really good. Like, there's so much, like the world. I remember the first planet we stepped out on, I went, holy shit, this looks good. Mind you, I've said this on a previous podcast that Anthem kind of looks like the Mass Effect that we thought it was
Yeah.
going to be. You know what I
Correct.
mean? Like when you look at that, you go, yeah, that should have been Mass Effect right there. But again, if they turned the game around in just 18 months or whatever, that's still an impressive feat. They changed engines. They went to new consoles. Never an easy thing. Go back and look at the original Mass Effect. As well as it's a classic, that game pales in comparison to number 2 or number 3.
Absolutely.
And again, that was starting out on new hardware with a new technology, that sort of thing. So people are too hard
There goes Noof again.
on this stuff here. If Mass period, you owe it to yourself to buy the game. It is pretty cheap now in most places, so one
like a
less
sale for like
excuse off the
$20.
book.
Okay, but the
But-
thing is, though,
Exactly.
has BioWare, because unless someone can send me the post, I have not seen BioWare themselves actually come out and then say there is or is not.
Do you blame them coming out and being like,
No,
hey guys,
no, I understand.
we gave you Mass Effect. You all thought it was shit, and now we're going to cancel the fucking DLC.
But
No, they're not going to say that.
But I'm just saying, how just because somebody made a fake post does not mean there isn't DLC in the future.
That's people are not reading everything. This is the problem with social media and console wars and all this kind of. Everybody doesn't read everything. They read parts for their narrative and all that kind of stuff. When you actually read everything about it, yes, the Facebook post was not correct in what they were saying, but they were correct in the DLC was canceled. Was confirmed. Yes, BioWare has not come out themselves and said it, but I don't blame them. They're not going to. They're always going to leave gamers with that hope of, yeah, someday you guys will get DLC. But at the end of the day, though, if they split up the team and are working on other projects, how are they building DLC?
I'm just we don't know all the teams they have. I'm just saying until BioWare comes out and tells me that that their DLC, that there is never going to be DLC, I am not going to just throw it out the window.
Game's been out long enough to where it should have DLC already.
No, please, come on. We've seen some games take a little while to get DLC, and if they are working on other projects, it could just be on a back burner. It doesn't mean it won't come out possibly next year. Or who knows, maybe it's already been worked on and we could see it released next year. DLC is not something that they just have to keep advertising around. DLC can simply just
I don't foresee them waiting a year to release DLC for a game.
I'm just saying it's possible. Anything is possible with games
Okay,
nowadays.
I give you that. Yes, it's possible. Here's the reality. DLC's not coming, guys.
Until BioWare tells me otherwise.
It's split up. It's not working on it.
Yeah, the only developers that are left, like I said, are the ones that are doing updates for the multiplayer and stuff like
exactly. That team's
at the end of the
But it
day,
doesn't
time
mean
and
DLC
money in
wasn't
development has to
already
outweigh.
created.
Right?
Yes, exactly. That's the point right there, Noof. Is if the game didn't do well, why are they going to spend more time and money and development costs and all this stuff to make DLC for it? It doesn't make any sense. Everything
Just
adds
move
up
on.
to that. They're not making DLC. They're going to make as
what
soon as
if
Anthem's done, the A-Team BioWare, they're going to get back into Mass Effect. They're going to make the next Mass Effect game. It'll be great, and everybody will love it.
They're gonna try to revive it.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, because it's pretty simple. Most companies, this is how it goes, right? They see their sales, especially after the first 6 months. They do about 1.5 million, and they say what 10 to 15% of the people that buy your game generally buy the DLC. So you're looking at 100,000 copies, maybe 200,000 units of DLC. Is that really worth the millions and the thousands of hours it potentially takes to do content? That's the thing. It has to outweigh the benefits, have to outweigh the risks. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree. I concur. Noof's on point today. Love it. Anyway. All right, guys.
But I'm just
At some point when he's not botting.
Yeah, he was botting today.
Am I botting again?
Yeah, you were botting.
You were twice earlier.
Frig fiddly diglet.
Let's go ahead and get into some Foxy deals where I'm going to spend all kinds of money because I know Fox is going to tell me a bunch of stuff that I want to buy. So let's play the intro.
Hey, that's a steal. It's Foxy Deals. Hey, that's a steal. It's Foxy Deals.
All right, Foxy, take it away. What can we spend our money on this week?
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Foxy, and I bring you the best deals around. But I'm gonna make it short and sweet for you guys because I know everybody wants to get on with
Barbecue.
their day because they want to spend time with their family and friends. But for sure, you'll see me on Twitter later posting even more deals. So keep an eye out for that. So some of the deals I'll share with you right now. Games with Gold deals. They do have Dragon Ball Xenoverse. One is $12, and then they have that one with the expansion or the season pass, and that one is $19.50. And then they do have some DLC for the season pass for Watch Dogs 2. That's 24 actually, so that's pretty cool. And Dragon Ball Z Xenoblade 2. That one is 36.
Nice.
On to the PlayStation stuff. They got some discounts on there. We have Zombie Army Trilogy is 15.
Great game.
Elder Scrolls Online with the new expansion and stuff like that. 45. And then Attack on Titan, which I do believe is on both systems. That is $30 right now. Like I said, I do have more deals with that, but check out your store, your Xbox store, your PlayStation store. I'm pretty sure you'll see more, especially the Xbox One Ultimate Sale, which is still going on right now, and they have over 350 games, and that ends on July 10th. And then over on the PlayStation side, they still have their sale as well for the mid-year sale, with the PlayStation Plus deals and all that good stuff, and that's going to last until July 11th. Some online deals that I found for you guys would be Prey is $40 at GameStop, but at Newegg you could get it for $30 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. But you got to use the coupon code EMCRHRD23. And if you guys want me to remind you or repeat that for you, just let me know on Twitter. We have Rime for $20 on Amazon for PlayStation. We have Injustice 2 for Xbox and PlayStation at Amazon for $40. That's actually a pretty good deal. And then GameStop is having a crazy, crazy good sale right now. It's going to last all the way until the 16th, and basically 50% off a lot of AAA games that we all know and love, like Mass Effect for $20. I couldn't keep a straight face on that one. Battlefield 1 is $30. Halo Wars 2 is $30. Mafia 3 is $20. Gears 4 is $30. Timefall 2 is $20. Skyrim is $30, and they do have a lot of other great deals for Nintendo, but that's over there at GameStop. Go check them out if you like. My brother doesn't work there anymore, so I don't get discounts, sadly enough. Do you guys want to add anything to the deals?
The Steam sale and the Xbox Ultimate sale is crazy. Lots of awesome games on there.
Yes, I've been sharing the Steam sale here and there in our Discord and on Twitter, so I do shout out the PC peeps.
Yes, she does.
All this stuff I'll share on Twitter later, like I said, and on Discord. If you guys have any awesome deals that you want to share with me, Twitter, Lady Foxfire, I'm always there. Chat with me, and back to you guys.
Sweet. Thank you for the Foxy deals. It was awesome.
Short and sweet.
It's awesome. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close up the show. We appreciate... Well, I don't even know how many we had at one point.
120 something.
Like over 120 people watching us this early on a 4th of July. You guys are fantastic. Best community ever. I want to thank you guys too, because we're out on MP3 format on all the podcasting sites, and we had over 400 downloads already. Like it was just out like a week or so. Like that's fantastic. Awesome. That's really
most
awesome,
of those
guys.
was just me. I was doing that
Fox
on all my devices.
She's like multi-downloading.
So that's really awesome. So again, guys, you can watch the show later on YouTube and or on your favorite podcast site. We got them all over the place. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and let all these awesome people shout out what they got going on. And again, happy 4th of July, everybody. She-Wolf, what you got going on?
So you guys can tune in we're switching to Fridays so that we don't have back-to-back shows. So Friday, make sure you tune in next week for the Gaming Den. It's the new show that me and Fox are going to be doing. We do things a little bit differently, but we keep it entertaining. So I hope you guys come check it out. What's next Friday? Sorry, I'm going to take a second here.
The 14th.
July 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time here on the YouTube
That's
channel.
pretty much
Come and
all.
check out the Gaming Den. It'd be really awesome. Other than that, I'll be streaming hopefully tomorrow and Friday. And then next week, I start my new schedule at 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. So make sure you guys come and check that out on Mixer.
Girl.
Foxy, what you got going on?
I'm gonna be streaming with She-Wolf here and there, so catch me on
She's
there
like, I am
whenever.
not getting up that early.
Whenever
I'll
I
make
wake
her
up,
wake up that
though,
early.
not at 8 in the morning. I'll tell you that much. But please check out the Gaming Den episode 1 here on this channel after this episode. I would love that and appreciate that. Leave me some nice comments, please. There was a little bit of audio, issues in the beginning, but get past that because I love you. And you'll enjoy the rest of the episode, I assure you. But besides that, you guys can, like I said, follow me on Twitter, chat with me on there, Discord, of course. I do have my own YouTube channel, and I got some awesome videos planned for this week. So hopefully you guys check that out. And I did say I was going to hang out with She-Wolf and stream here and there, so I am on Mixer as well. And my followers are growing every time I jump on there, so that's pretty cool. See you later, Twitch. Sorry.
Yeah. Noof, what you got going on, bro?
Same old, man. Still trying to get through the backlog. As I mentioned, actually, before the top of the show, I managed to finally finish off Horizon Zero Dawn. Great game, by the way. If you have a PlayStation, you should definitely owe it to yourself to at least try it. It is a pretty good game, although a little bit dragged out. But anyway, just playing some of the backlog games. I'm overdue for a video, guys. I know you've been asking. You'd be surprised how many requests I get for Cletus videos. And there will be a new one coming soon. Just got to try to find some time to squeeze one in. As always, guys, you can find me here on Tuesdays with the Console Corner, the best crew ever. And yeah, I want to just wish all my American friends safe and happy July 4th, and go, love the neighbors or make love to the neighbors, whichever. But have a great time.
Have barbecue with the neighbors.
Yeah, for real.
Damn.
Barbecue. That's right. Just don't fill yourself up with the big sausage. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. All right.
Wow.
Out, folks. Thanks so much for the love. Peace out.
Magic Plank, what you got going on, dude?
Yo, I gotta follow that up.
Yeah, I know, right?
Good luck.
Hey, everybody! All my contact information is in the description below. You can follow me on Twitter. Hit me up. I chat a lot during the week. Also, you can follow my Mixer channel. Hopefully, we get back on there. I have to apologize to everyone that was looking forward to me streaming this weekend because my internet went out Saturday evening right before I was supposed to stream.
Ooh,
Some idiot ran his car into a telephone pole that was
Dang.
servicing my FiOS line, and yeah, that was fun. Thankfully, it got back up in time for the show today. But you can always catch me here next week, Tuesday, on the Console Corner podcast. Also, be sure to check out Fox and She-Wolf's Gaming Den. There was a special magical cameo, from what I understand. So everybody
It's
needs
glorious.
to check that out in all its glory, the masterpiece theater that it was. And everybody have a happy 4th of July. Don't make love to your neighbors unless you're in a swinging neighborhood. Not sure how they do it in Canada for Canada Day, but be safe with the fireworks. Have fun with the family. Have your beers, have your drinks, have a good, safe time, everyone.
Sweet. What's up, everybody? I'm the Governor. You can find me at Gamers Knows Best on YouTube and Twitter. Thank you so much, everybody, rocking out with us on this early Console Corner. Super fun, super great topics. Great panel, as always. Your number one source for all the gaming news, video game reviews, and all kinds of cool stuff. Thank you again, guys. We'll see you
Later.
Laters.
Bye.